Hi, in today's video I'm going to be using w3m, CGI scripts, wget, MPV and surfraw to make browsing BBC iPlayer much more convenient and just show you the links and remove all the cruft. I'm also going to be doing the same thing with the download pages on archive.org. So first of all, in the UK you've got BBC iPlayer and the site here. You can't actually play these videos without logging in with your email used to pay the license fee. However, MPV Player can play any video on iPlayer. So what I'm going to be doing is showing you how we can browse iPlayer on the command line. What I'm going to do is switch across to the terminal here. What I'm going to do is use surfraw, which is a script which was originally written by Julian Assange, that allows you to send search queries to different sites. So I have a little script here that called WS, and what that does is bring up an FZF menu of sites I can submit a query to. So I'm going to type iPlayer, and this is this will call a CGI script that I wrote myself that will send queries to iPlayer. So I now want to search for, say, gold, which is a new series. And what you'll see, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch across over here and show you the output on the website. So when I search for gold, that's the URL. And this is how it looks in the browser. Okay, so you can see here's the series and there's view all episodes. And if I click view all episodes, what you'll see is it listed like this. So if I come across to the terminal, you'll see the problem. First of all, when we're landing on the results page, we've got to scroll all the way down here. And a bit more. Okay, and finally we see this section here, gold. So that corresponds this up here. So now if I view all episodes, again, I've got to scroll through all this crap. More, until finally I'll get to this section here. And what I want you to notice, if you haven't already, is the text is duplicated. You see here, 6 armed men steal 26 million worth of gold, duplicated. That's very annoying. Also, this whole thing is a link. The actual link should be up here, but the whole thing is a link. So that's not great. So how can we improve that? So let's quit out this. And what I'm going to do is come into my w3m site config here. And what we've got here is the URL for BBC iPlayer search. You can see iPlayer search ? And then substitute URL CGI script BBC search.cgi. And then another one with a different URL, iPlayer episodes, substitute URL bbc-episodes.cgi. So what happens when I uncomment these? So let's run the same thing again and see how we've improved it. WS, iPlayer, gold, bang. So that's removed all of the stuff at the top. And what you'll see here is we've got a little play link, and that will play. This will give us a link to the first video. We come down here, view all episodes, bang. You can see it's right to the action, moved all that header. And now what we've got here is we've got a nice little play button, we've got play link, and then no more duplicated text. So we've improved this several ways. We've removed all the scrolling that we had to do previously to get past the header menus. Having some tea there. We've removed the duplicate entries here, and we've added a little play link. So how does this work? So what we need to do next is we hit a keyboard shortcut here. And what you'll see is I get a little menu coming up with various things I can do. Video, full screen, download, copy URL, open, audio, sponsor block. So if I just press video, give it a second or two. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. You can see it's opened up. So the other thing to note is MPV used to take about 30 seconds to actually resolve the links for iPlayer, and now it's down to about 3 seconds. So fantastic job to the MPV team and whoever has tweaked the code for this. So what we can do is we can actually also queue up videos, so we can actually go through, I can say video, down, video. Okay, I'm going to stop that, I'm going to quit it, give it a second, 2, and then the next video opens. So the other advantage is what we're using is task spooler. And what that is it's a command line program that will let you queue up a series of commands to be executed one after another when they're finished. So what we can do with this is actually queue up videos to be played one after another. So we want to binge watch something, we can come through here, go through, go video, oops, my bad, video, go through, queue them all up, and what's going to happen is it's going to play the videos one after another. So how do we do this? So let's have a look at all the bits and bobs. So what we've got here is the site config. So the next thing we need to have a look at is the actual CGI script. So CGI bin. What we've got here is BBC search and BBC episode. So we'll have a look at the search first of all. So what we've got here is the base URL, and that's the base URL for the iPlayer search question mark. You've got the query string, and that's basically what you're searching for. So you can see here in capitals query string, that's actually a w3m variable that we're using. So this is like when you search for gold or extras or whatever, films. That's what's going to be in the query string. And then what we do is create a new variable called URL, and that is basically the base URL and the query put together. So that's going to be, iPlayer search gold or extras or whatever. Next, what we've got here is the CSS selector, and then a CSS exclude. So what's this selector? So I'll come back across here and to the search. Let's have a look. What was the actual doodah? Search list. Div.list.search. I think that's the. Well, basically what it is it's the, that's the section. So you can see here list search. So first of all, what we're doing is we're actually saying this is the bit of the page we want. We don't want all this stuff at the top, okay? So we can actually just say, okay, just select this bit of the page. But as we scroll down to the bottom, what you'll see is at the bottom of the page, we've got the pagination here, but we've got this other section. See what the excluded search list header, I think it was. So basically what we're also doing is we're excluding another part of the page. Is it search list header? Where's the search list header? That bit. I think that's the one up there. Search list header, yeah. So that's the other bit we're actually excluding. So we're doing two things. We're saying this is the bit of the page we want, and this is by CSS IDs, and this is something we want to exclude. Next, what we're doing is we're using wget. Hang on a second. I hate lighters. So we're defining output here. We're defining two variables which are going to be equal to temp wget w3m.html and temp bbc-search.html. And what we're going to do, as I pour some more tea, as you can see down here, let me just zoom this in a bit for you. wget-k url -capital O wget output and then send any errors to dev null. So the URL is actually from up here. So this is the search string basically. So what we're doing is we're downloading the search string, and what the -k option does is it converts the links, because the links on a lot of sites are relative as opposed to absolute. So if you download the HTML page, it's going to have relative links which then won't work. They won't have the full URL in them. Yeah. So the -k option of wget ensures that any HTML page we've got and we download has got absolute links in. So then they work locally. They will open the site on iPlayer, and then we basically dump that page into this wget w3m.html page. Next, what we're doing is we're using hx normalize, hx select, hx prune, and sed. So what we're doing is we're running hx normalize wget output. So we're normalizing the wget w3m.html page, and what that does is it makes sure it's all sort of formatted properly so that we can use hx select. And what this does is this basically selects this CSS. So you can see here, new line, select CSS, and that CSS corresponds to this search list. So we're just focusing on the bit we want. Then we say hx prune -c search, and that moves that big search header. So that removes this big search header from the results because we don't need it. And then finally, what we're doing is we're running it through sed. And you can see here, this is a sed command. And what we're doing is we're searching for all the ahref links that got BBC iPlayer episodes. And what we're doing is we do and play, and that's how we generate that little play link. And then finally, what we got down here is the important bit. W3m control go to output. And what this does is this block of code gets dumped to output, and that is the BBC search.html. So basically what we're doing is we're downloading the page with wget, we're stripping out all the craft, we're putting it into a new file. So we're having two HTML pages, and we have to do it this way because wget with the -k option has to be saved to a file. So we save it to a file, and then we process that file into another file, and then we send w3m to that file that we've just created, and then we delete the previous buffer. So that's the search, and the episodes is pretty much the same kind of deal. What we've got here is the current link, the CSS selector, the bit of the page we want to focus on, the bit of the page we want to exclude, and again these correspond to div IDs on the HTML page. We've got the output page, and what we're doing for wget is we're just basically going to have one file we use for wget, and we're just going to overwrite it each time. So same thing, wget, you download the page, convert it to absolute URLs. We do the same thing here. We select the bit of the page, we prune it, we run it through sed to create those links, and then we go to the page. So again, that basically means we can do this. Films. Okay, you can see all the films here, and you can see all the films that have actually got links on them. So all the ones will have play. So we've got like all these things like entertainment, film night, special carry on. So video, I'm just going to open up and pause it as soon as it opens. Okay, there you go. And what you should notice down the bottom page is we have the pagination. So if I search for, what was it I searched for? Films. So we'll come across here. We'll search for films, and I just want to show you how we've got the same thing. So films, we've got the pagination down here. Pagination, and you can see if you look at the URLs, we've got the absolute URL. Click next. We go to the next page. What we do in the shadows. Excellent movie. There we go. Opened up. You see, we've got all the things there. So same thing. Let's search for young ones. All episodes. Bang. Series 1, Series 2, Series 1, 2. See how fast this is. Got the play button. All we do is then I haven't figured out how to get the play button to automatically launch the video player. I had it working before, but for some reason, sometimes things get updated and things stop working. So basically, all we do, press the keyboard shortcut that I've defined, bring up this little menu. Now, if you're using Tmux, the menu is going to come up like this, and it's set to the exact height to show you all the options you've got here. If you're not running Tmux, what's going to happen is it's going to open it in a new terminal. This will be full screen, basically. It would come out of w3m and show you this. So that's why I quite like running it in Tmux, because then you've actually got some context. You can see the link that you're actually acting on. So that's BBC iPlayer. So what I'm going to do is show you the same thing with archive.org, and what I'll do is go through all the bits and pieces and the scripts and all the config you need to get this going. So what we're going to do is have a look at archive.org next. Now, unfortunately, archive.org, you used to be able to search it without JavaScript, but if I turn off JavaScript, what happens? It's going bonkers. So archive.org, I'm going to bring that back, turn that back on. What happens is, even in the terminal, you get this no script true, redirecting you to a light version of archive.org, but it doesn't. So you can't actually search archive.org on the command line anymore, because I had a surfraw thing that would allow you to do that. But what I want to show you is this. So this was uploaded by someone called TV Star. And this is basically loads of old episodes, things like TJ Hooker and all that kind of stuff. So this is what we have here is you've got two URLs. You've got the archive.org details, and if we come down here, show all, what we have is archive.org download. So what we want is to actually have this page. So we want this page in w3m, a nice table, so that we've basically got the links here for all the videos, so that we can actually launch them with MPV. Now, you'll notice there's torrents here as well. Now, I just wanted to mention how archive.org works with torrents. What it does is it uses WebSeed, and what a WebSeed is it's the actual file listed here. So they've made torrents of the all these files listed on the downloads down here. And what happens is you'll notice a lot of the torrents are duplicated. They've got like an MKV and an MP4. When you download a torrent of something on archive.org, frequently you have to deselect things. But what I noticed was the torrent, when I was trying to download a torrent, it would stop at 86%, and there was no more seeds, which was really weird because it's a web seed. The files are all here, so sometimes the torrents don't actually work. So what I want to do is actually go through and show you how this looks by default w3m. So this is the details page. So what we're going to do is actually press Shift G to jump to the bottom, and you can see show all down here. across to show all, and you can see the problem straight away. Okay, so this is the downloads page. What we really want is just this bit here, files, and then, you know, this section here. But what we're ending up with is having to scroll past all this, page after page, until we finally get to the bottom. So basically what we want to do is just have this section here at the very bottom. So how do we do that? So let's come across to the archive script. So very simple. What we've got here is URL equals current w3m current link, and that's going to be basically the link that links to the downloads page. Then what we've got is the CSS selector, div.download directory listing. You can see here, download directory listing. So div class download directory listing. So this is how you go through and actually isolate the bit of the page you want and find the correct CSS thing. Let's go there, CSS selector. Okay, so that's the bit we want. So what we're doing here, setting the CSS selector to that. Again, we've got the wget output and the output for the archive page. We're going to use wget to download the page and convert the links to absolute links. Then what we're doing is we're normalizing that wget page, hx normalize, hx select, CSS output. And finally, got the same thing. We then send w3m to that output page. So what we need to do is come into our site config and uncomment this. So what we've got here is URL archive.org download substitute URL CGI bin archive.cgi. So what we're going to do now is go to that page, and this is the details page, and now we're going to go to show all. Bang. So that's what we want. So now we've got all the links down here, so we can just come across video, give it a second too, and there we go, it's opening up. I'm not going to play them, and that's great. So the way the site config works is a bit mad. So what happens, I want to show you some weird sort of behavior and how it works, so you don't get frustrated with it. If I try going directly to this page, it's not going to work at all. So this is the way the redirect works. So watch what happens. It's going to go to a blank page. That's no good, is it? So it's a problem because I don't want to have to redirect. Only works when you're going from one page to that page. If you go directly to it, it redirects to the script and you can't get the actual URL of the page. Bit mad. So how do we get around that? So I don't want to bookmark these pages and have to keep going to show all. You know, I don't want to have to keep doing this. I don't want to have to do this every time I want to do it. You know, open this, go to the bottom, then go to show all, go to this page. So the issue is, what we need is we can't go directly to the page with w3m. We can't go w3m and then that page. So what we do, the workaround is this: w3m bookmarks, TJ Hooker series 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are all the links to the download pages. Okay, so by having the links in the bookmarks, it works. So that's the mad thing, is you can't like go directly to the page. It doesn't work. You've got to actually have, you've got to have a link and then go to that page, and then it redirects to the script. So series 2, give it a second, bang, we've got series 2 here. And we've got all the videos. We can go back up to the parent directory, and that's going to take you to the details page. So that's how we get around that issue. And let me just finish this tea. So, recap. What we got is several bits to do this. For archive.org, what we've got is we've got our site config. We've got the URL here, archive.org download, the substitute URL file://cgi-bin archive.org archive.cgi-bin, and this path is w3m cgi-bin. So this is how you write the path to the CGI scripts in the site config, like that. That's the actual format, and this is the location .w3m cgi-bin. So we've got the URL and the substitute URL. Then we've got the actual script, and all these have to be executable. So ASAL w3m cgi-bin. You can see these are all executable because they are shell scripts basically with a CGI extension. So make sure if you're doing something that the script is executable, otherwise it's not going to work. I've done it myself, figuring why is that not working, and it's just, you know, it wasn't executable. So what we've got the script here, so that's what actually creates the page. Then the next thing we have down here is this script called sauron-w3m that I wrote. What this does basically is it's got a series of functions here. Audio, so you can see here ts pinch is a script I wrote. What that does is it basically takes the link and sends it to MPD. And we've got copy, so we can copy the URL. XDG open, so we can open the link in our browser. And we use XDG open instead of specifying, you know, Firefox or something, because sometimes you might change browsers or something, and then you'd have to go through and change, you know, the name of the browser in your script. So using XDG is better because, you know, if I was to suddenly switch to Chromium, I don't have to change the script. It's automatically going to open in Chromium instead of Firefox. We've got YTDLP down here. So format, you know, just download stuff that's 1080p, 30 frames, you know, best audio, best video, VP9. You can restrict the file names, no playlist. We set the output. And we've got some stuff down here for MPV, full screen, or just, you know, regular size. We've got sponsor block, which is an option in YTL. YT-DLP is an option that removes sponsored segments from videos. So finally, what we've got down here is we've got this is how we're sort of constructing the list that shows up. Basically, this is the FZF thing, and then we construct a menu and a case statement. So what happens is if you select video from the FZF menu, it's going to run the video function and basically use MPV to open the URL, and you can see this TS beforehand. Another thing to note is I'm on nixos, and on different versions of Linux, the task spooler has got a different name. On Ubuntu, this is called TSP. So if you sort of pinch these scripts and find them useful, on Ubuntu, what you need to do is change this command, any commands that are called TS to TSP. So that's just something I wanted to point out. So this is basically the script that comes up. So again, let's do w3m-b for the bookmarks, TJ Hooker, and what was I watching? That one, Blind Watch. So when I press, what is it? Is it .comma? I yeah, dot comma, this little menu comes up, and that's what this script basically does. So you can see these options down here, what actually show up down here, and the order, hang on, you can see the order is defined here. So video, full screen, download, copy URL, open, audio, sponsor block, and the menu size in tmux is set exactly so that you can see all of the listed options down here. So, you know, if I just want to copy the URL, yeah, or open it in a browser or whatever. So that's w3m and BBC iPlayer and archive.org, and just making things a bit more user friendly. So let's just have another look at this. So I'm using a script called WS. Let me just show you the script. In WS, and basically what this does is it creates a FCF menu using surfraw. So I just type WS, and now I can submit a query to any site. So I just type iPlayer, and what's on iPlayer that we could search for. Let's search for Luther. See, really quick, you can see there's the first episode. It's listing series 5 episode 4. I just come down to view all episodes, and you can see series 1. We're by default we're on series 1. You can see because there's no link, and those are links to the other things. So again, the way we've improved it, we've removed all the header and everything, so we don't have to scroll down the page. We've got links to all the series. We've got the nice little button here. We've removed the duplicate text, and so when we've got this play button, we just press the keyboard shortcut, bring up the menu, video, give it a second. It takes about 3 or 4 seconds. See, and I said it used to take about 30 seconds. So we can just come down through all these and we queue them up like that. We can go to series 2, bang. See how quick this is. Blink and you'll miss it. Series 3, series 4, series 5. So much more convenient than having to do lots of scrolling. And we can basically search iPlayer and have this really nice clean interface where we can just launch the videos. So that's perfect. And so the other one was archive.org. And again, there was this guy, TV Stars, just uploaded loads of old stuff like DJ Hooker. What else was there? Oh, Heart to Heart. I used to watch that, damn. Kojak, Ironside, sort of, you know, loads of old stuff. And that you'll find a load of old stuff like this on archive.org, and basically all we do is we come through and we just go to these URLs and we copy the URLs. So the nice thing about this is that the URLs are going to be the same. So as you can see, if I just come into the bookmarks, w3m bookmarks, what we've got here is a very simple HTML page. HTML title, bookmarks, the body, H1 bookmarks, and then an unordered list. So as you can see, actually creating more links for the download pages for archive.org is incredibly easy, because the only bit that changes in the URL is that section. Okay, everything else is the same, and then obviously you've got to you know, give it a name down here. Once we've done that, put w3m-b, and we've got all our bookmarks here. So again, this is to get around this weird sort of bug I was describing, where you can't go directly to the page. You have to be on a link to the page for the redirect to work. So again, we can just come through any of these, Give it a second. Downloads it. You can see nothing but the links. Okay, all nicely formatted. And we can go back to the parent page as well, so we're not stuck. We can come down on any of these. We can video, we can do video full screen. We can download the links. We can copy the URLs. We can open them with the browser. We could just play the audio if we wanted to. And again, we're using task spooler. So if I want to download stuff individually from a archive.org download page, let's go into the thumbs directory. Okay, so what I'm going to do, download YTDLP is probably not going to download an image. So if I go download, oh, it has. Oh, there we go. It did. So nsgive. Okay, there we go. So what I want to do is just show you how I can queue these all up to download one after another. So I can come across and go download, download, download. I come across to here. See, this is one saying part. Now it's done, and that's because I'm using task spooler. So if I run ts, I'll clear the thing. Let me just do it again. Download, download. What it's doing is it's actually using ARIA2C as an external downloader. That's why we're getting the part extensions. You can see it's downloaded all those files. If I run ts, what you'll see is this is the task spooler interface showing you the commands that have been queued up one after another. You can see here the state's finished, the time, the actual command. You can see it was actually using YTDLP, but it's actually downloaded the file absolutely fine. And it just means that you can go through, and if I just come back up to the parent directory, that was just an example using the thumbs. Oh, bollocks. That was just an example using the thumbs, but the idea is that you can use this to actually download the videos. So what's going to happen is it's going to create a queue of commands to execute one after the other. It's going to basically use YTDLP with ARIA2C as the external downloader. I'm going to download the first file. When that's finished, it's going to download the second file. So the advantage is you can just come through, go download, download, download on all of these links. Going to create a queue, download them all into the downloads folder. So it makes it really easy to actually download these. And the reason that you might want to do that is because I've found sometimes, at least when I was trying it on some stuff, that the torrent files weren't completing for some reason, which is really weird because, as I said, archive.org uses what are called web seeds. So the torrent that you'll see down here actually links to all these files on archive.org, as well as people seeding them. So if you're having an issue with the torrents, first thing is obviously sometimes you get multiple versions and you have to deselect all the files. But it's really annoying if you're trying to download a whole thing and the torrent gets stuck at like 80-something%. And all of the videos are like 80%, none of them are completely downloaded. So that's why you may want to, manually download stuff. And, it's just easier than kind of going through and downloading them all in the browser and then, the browser hanging, crashing partway through or whatever. So that's a sort of recap on how we can sort of improve BBC iPlayer and archive.org. And again, unfortunately, you can't search directly on the command line with archive.org anymore. If I come across, go to I'll show you what happens. w3m archive.org. Redirecting you to a light version. No script, no script, no script. It's going to keep doing this. Got to kill it. So you can't go to the main archive.org site or the search page on the command line, but you can go to like any of these pages, the details page for an account. So you can see here, this is how stuff is sort of listed. Jake and the Fat Man, series 3. This is the details page. So you have a look at the URLs. First of all, what you got is you got the user. So for user pages, it's archive.org details at, and then the username. And then when you actually go into the details page, it's going to be archive.org details, and then a URL. And then when you come down here to show all, the URL is archive.org download, and then that. So the nice thing about this is, as I said, it makes it really easy just to create a bookmark list of all these kind of download pages. So rather than having these pages, you could watch it in the browser like that. But in my opinion, it's better to have these links here, because it's just much more convenient. It's not pretty, but doesn't matter. So that's what we want, and that's the different sort of URL structure you've got on archive.org. And again, on iPlayer, we search, so say we search gold. You can see the URL here is bbc.co.uk iPlayer search $Q equals gold. And then we go into, hang on, we want to go to view watch all episodes. So you've got two different URLs. You've got iPlayer episodes, and then bring a text here. And then do I actually go onto one of the episodes, URL changes from episodes to episode. You can see different episodes, episode. So that's the sort of URL structure on iPlayer. So I come across to the site config again. So for iPlayer, we got the search query, the substitute URL, then we got the episodes pages, and then for archive.org, we've got the download. So this is how you basically have two things. You've got the URL that you're targeting, and then you've got the substitute URL which redirects to the CGI script. We've got the CGI bin, we've got BBC episodes, BBC search, and archive. And again, notice that these are all shell scripts, bin sh. It's always better to write your scripts as shell scripts, POSIX shell scripts, as opposed to bash scripts, because the shebang is different on different things. So bash may not be installed on the system, but if you use bin sh and write proper POSIX shell scripts, you can see here tick mark, so it's all correct. It will work on anything. So this will basically work on any version of Linux, Mac, Unix. It will even work on Windows, using the Windows subsystem for Linux as well. So that just makes it more portable. And again, we've got the shebang, we've got the current w3m current link, so that's the link under the cursor. Again, we've got the CSS selector, so this is the bit of the page we're selecting. We've got the wget output and the output. So what we have to do for this, we create two HTML pages. There's no way around that, unfortunately, but they're in the temp directory, so whenever you reboot, they're going to be removed anyway. They're not going to take up much space, or only a couple of kilobytes or whatever. So we use wget with the -k option to download the page, and output it to temp wget-w3m.html. Then we use hx normalize on that page. We then run hx select to select the bit of the page. then output that to a new file, and then finally, basically, we redirect w3m to that page. So that's how that works. And again, the episode one for iPlayer is a bit more sort of complex in that we're actually excluding stuff. So we have hx normalized, and we pipe that into hx select. Finally, we run hx prune, and that prunes that particular CSS selector from the page, so that removes that bit of the page. And then finally, we pipe it through sed to create those nice little play links that we're getting on the iPlayer. And then finally, we go to the page, and again with the search, same kind of deal. We select a bit of the page, we exclude some, create a new page, put the play button in, and go to the page. And finally, we got the Sauron w3m CGI script that creates a nice little menu. So what I'll just do is actually show you how that looks when I'm not in Tmux. So iPlayer, gold. So now if I come across here, I come across to one of these links. You can see what happens now is we go to a sort of separate page, as it were. And the problem, as far as I'm concerned with that, is we then kind of lose the context of what link we're actually on. So that's why I would recommend using Tmux. And then what we have is a nice little thing. So maybe say extras. Okay, extras. So now what we have is this nice little setup. Comedy, extras, we've got the bit of text here. Episodes, we've got links, we're automatically on series 1, we can go to series 2. Then we've got the nice little play button here. Episode, the text, and again, remember, we've removed the duplicate text that I showed you before using hx prune, so we don't have the text repeated here, because that's just annoying. And so we can just come through here, and all we have to do is run the keyboard shortcut, and the little menu is going to come up. So that's the other thing, is the key map. As you can see here, if I come back out, we've got w3m key map. So what we got here is this is the Sauron -w3m prompt. You can see here the key map, comma, and the key map, the dash isn't actually part of the key map. That's just separating the two parts of the key map, as it were. So the actual key map is comma and dot, and the reason that's just to the right of the M, and the reason for that is because it's really quick. So they're just two keys next to each other. Just press comma and then dot, and what it's going to do is it's going to run read shell. It's going to execute the Sauron script, and then once it's done that, it goes back, so it goes kind of back a buffer to the main page. So those are various bits of getting this working, and I just wanted to show you how w3m's siteconfig and CGI scripts work, and some of the weird sort of pitfalls. As I sort of discussed, you can't go directly to a page that you're going to redirect to. You've got to go from a link to that page, and so that's why we use the bookmarks. So for iPlayer, it's not an issue because we can use surfraw, and we can sort of search on iPlayer really easily. iPlayer, you know, films like that, so we can easily search for stuff. Whereas I do have if I search for archive.org, I've got a surfraw thing for this. So archive.org, TJ Hooker, it's not going to work, whereas it did work before. TJ Hooker, redirecting you. and it will go to this page, but it's actually blank. Yeah. So we can't use surfraw to search for stuff on archive.org. So there's a way around that. What we do is we just bookmark the download pages. So again, the advantage of this is we just got this nice thing here. All the links, you can just come through and just easily play these or download them. Come back. And again, if I just switch back across to the bookmark format, you can see when you want to add a new link into a archive.org thing, you can just copy this part of the URL always remains the same. Okay, so it's only this bit that changes, and the actual link, the actual text you put there. So makes it really easy to add a new one in. So let's just come across and find something else that we might want to watch. Jake and the Fat Man. Street Hawk with the intro by Tangerine Dream. George Clooney got his first break in this series. So if we want to add Street Hawk, what we do is it's going to come across here. So it's just dash Street Hawk. So all we've got to do is change this bit here. So delete till that. Come across, copy that bit of the URL, move back, and just change this bit here. Street Hawk. Okay. Don't know about Street Hawk. Okay, and w3m bookmarks, and we've got Street Hawk down here. Second, bang, we've got all the Street Hawk pilot video. Give it 2 or 3 seconds. There we go. Street Hawk. And we do the second one. I'll actually pause it as it's sort of going through, not play it. It's just got a wicked intro. Let's mute it. How 80s is this? I won't play the audio just in case it gets stopped, but that's how we can have Street Hawk, as well as some TJ Hooker. So it's just really nice way to have other entertainment apart from YouTube. Old stuff that's not going to be on YouTube because of copyright or whatever, you might find on archive.org, and then you can just have your bookmarks like this come through, open up video, and just easily play them. Go back, now Street Hawk. Wait a second. Okay, one other thing I should mention is let me come back to the script. W3m CGI. So MPV, if you're on X11, you can actually specify a screen to display the video on. So you can actually use --FS, which is going to put the video full screen, and then you can use, I think it's something like --screen 1 equals 1 or something. And that will display it on your second monitor. On Wayland, I haven't found an alternative, so when you launch the video, it's going to launch it on the current display the cursor is on. The cursor's on here. Let me see if I can get it to not display on this one video, and then if I move my cursor off screen, yeah, so what happens is I move the cursor across to the other screen, the second monitor. Once I do that, it's actually going to launch on that display. But as yet, I haven't figured out a way. I can't see an option in MPV or Wayland that allows you to specify a screen to launch the video on. So that's just another note. So by default, when you launch the video on Wayland, it's going to launch, it's going to display it on whichever screen the cursor's on. Mad, I know. But I think that's probably enough for now. Try to cover as much as possible and just make things a bit nicer, so you know we can just come through and easily bookmark the downloads pages for things we find interesting on archive.org, and on BBC iPlayer we can easily search and strip out all the cruft. So that's using things like surfraw, w3m, CGI scripts, wget, MPV, you know, lots of bits and bobs hacked together. Well, not so much hacked together, but kind of MacGyvered together, just to make things a bit sort of nicer, so that, you know, rather than, you know, I could just, you know, come to this page and then, you know, copy link, come across to the terminal, MPV, paste the link in. But where's the fun in that? Much better to roll your own and just have a nicer sort of you know, interface to view stuff. And as you can see, only takes a second to actually download and process the file, and then we've got all the links, and again we've got links to the parent directory, so we can go back up. But as I said, some parts of archive.org don't work with w3m. The main page and the search just don't work. You get that weird error, you know, redirect error. And I did search to see if there's a light version of archive.org, but I couldn't come across anything like a HTML version. You know, I've tried sort of changing the, sometimes what you get is something like a html.archive.org, or for example on DuckDuckGo, I think it's something like light.duckduckgo.com will be the HTML version. So maybe this is just some weird bug in archive.org with the redirect, not redirecting you, but just thought I'd point it out. So I'll put links to all this under the video, and that's all for now.